That's a good call because usually, different people have different definitions of things, right? So, uh, in general, like a security boundary is, like sort of a parameter because some people also call it a perimeter. So it's a perimeter that defines, the maximum permissible permissions. So it can be a network boundary, so the network level permissions. So it's basically defining a logical separation for your cloud environment of what's the max limit that a user can attain. Now it can be at a network level, at the infra level in terms of permission. So specifically the talk I gave was on more on the permission side of things, that how can you set boundaries, on the IAM side. So the whole boundary, you can have multiple boundaries for multiple things like network boundary, IAM boundary, and then together all of these like sort of constitute like your baseline, which we'll touch upon later. So that's the concept of the boundary. But yeah, if you hear me saying perimeter, it's like interchangeably used with boundary as well.
Makes sense. But there is another term which practitioners sometimes mix up while speaking about security boundaries, which is security baseline. What's a security baseline?
Right. So as I said, boundary, when you talk about boundary, it's like, the maximum limit. But baseline, with the word, if you go by the literal meaning, it's sort of like the bare minimum things that you need to have. So it's sort of like a benchmark or a standard that one needs to implement. Now, talking specifically about, security baseline in cloud environments. So I would say those are like sort of the bare minimum controls that need to exist no matter what. So it's sort of defining the baseline for you in the cloud.
Okay.
So sort of safeguarding your resources, like like you know, not letting you have any public exposure, so on and so forth. Now, what's interesting is your boundary is sort of part of your baseline because your baseline might have, some sane configuration, default configuration, which you want to have by default. But then you also want to put like a boundary to it. Like what's the max a user can go in terms of permission, in terms of network control, so on and so forth. So baseline, I would say, is your top level thing, and like a boundary is, sort of a superset or a subset of it.